I want people to understand the domestic side on the one hand and on the international side on the other. Things have picked up exponentially in terms of the violence, the bombing. Right now, Jen and I on the last show talked about the fact that perhaps we will get a piece of meat regarding the Zio state when things start to fall apart. Perhaps the three stooges of Netanyahu, Gavir, and Smoltrich will be hung in the town square, and that will satisfy the masses ever so slightly for the short term. But be crystal clear about this. It's never going to be enough. The end of the state must commence, and we know why it has to. Because people like Gavir are only speaking for the overwhelming majority of the Israelis that live in that stolen land. And here is more proof of just that.
אני חלק ראש הממשלה, אני חושב שצריך לעשות סיכולים ממוקדים בעזה, כל לילה להוריד 30-40. לא רק אלה שמסכנים אותך באותו רגע. אין, יש אנשים, הם לא בני חיים, הם לא צריכים לחיות, הם לא אנשים, גם אני נותן להם מחמאה שאני קורא להם אנשים. ואני חושב שאנחנו צריכים להשתקם בטיפול, בעזרה, בחיבוק של עם ישראל, אבל גם בלהילחם באויבים האלה. אני בדמיון את כל עזה שלנו, יישובים, לא רק בגוש קטיף, בכל עזה, לעודד הגירה כמה שיותר, לשלוח לארצותיהם, ואת המחבלים, שום הגירה ושום כלום, אותם להרוג אחד אחד.
כן, ביטחון לאומי של מדינת ישראל.
Now, what you also have to remember about these people, I don't know who this podcaster is, this Ryan let me blow this up one more time. Ryan Rozbayani. Got to be careful with some of these names because some of them sound Italian, you know? And then again, Israelis steal everything, so nothing would surprise me. Ben Gavir is sitting down for a podcast talking about how we need to be mass murdering 30 to 40 Palestinians a night in Gaza. Does this guy push back even a second? Does he even say to him, you know, that's kind of a little nuts? That does sound like genocide. That sounds like mass murder. It sounds like you're trying to completely end a civilization. Is that what you're trying to do? But no, it's oh, yes, this is a great idea. I wish I thought of it myself. I think blowing them up to pieces is definitely the way to go. Insane, isn't it?
לאזרחים, מה תאחל לנכי צה"ל, למשפחות השכולות.
אושר, נחת, הרבה אהבה, ובעזרת השם, אינשאללה, כמה שיותר מהר, שאנחנו ניכנס לכל עזה, נתיישב לכל עזה, נעודד הגירה, ואני אומר שוב, כל לילה צריך להוריד 30, 40, 50 מחבלים בעזה, רק בעזה עצמה.
יותר.
The money from our country goes to them. They get it. They are committing mass murder, genocide in our name. You can imagine how this makes me feel. I'm sure it makes all of you feel terrible as well. And they are not going to stop. We have to assume the worst, and we have to fight back with whatever tools we have. When I say I'm passionate about making sure that Wasserman Schultz loses her election, it's because I want there to be some type of an infiltration on Capitol Hill that doesn't involve the support for this genocidal state, because that's where it comes from. I have pointed out that the last time I was on Capitol Hill, that you have the little Zio bitches running around the halls of Congress, knocking on all the doors, telling them to support Israel or else. So they get their mind right and they know how the bread is buttered, how the sausage is made. That's why Gavir does this. He's emblematic in many ways of how the people feel. He's a psychopath, but then again, so are the majority of the Israelis. So are the people we've discussed earlier tonight, like Michael Gottlieb. You think Michael Gottlieb would ever put out a post addressing Itamar Ben-Gvir? Of course not, because he agrees with all of it. They can say all they want about how, oh, Netanyahu's doing this or They agree with it. They just know politically it's not they can't ascertain support if they are continuing to push for him. But if they just remove him, they could just put in another person, and then it'll continue.
I want you to get this fuck where he breathes. I want you to find this Nancy boy Elliot Ness. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his ass.
I mean, you know, like I said, we need a little dose of mafia dealing with these people. And I'll tell you, for those who may have seen this, and this is extra disturbing. I think a lot of you have probably seen the reports that came out of Gaza from, I forget the gentleman's name. I want to grab it, just make sure I get it right. Because he's been doing excellent work and really needs to be given his flowers. He puts himself in harm's way. So he goes by Andre. You guys have seen Andre X. He's really done an amazing job. This is what they had to deal with in the West Bank the other day. So again, it isn't just about Gaza. It's the West Bank. It's southern Lebanon. It is the insanity of this genocidal state and what they're doing to the world. And here's an example of that.
Fuck. The army from down there are shooting live ammunition at us. Okay. בתוכו.
First, let me just say that the courage it takes to fly that flag in lieu of what's coming for them, that's beyond bold. That takes real courage. Because you fly that flag, you know you're a target. You know they're coming for you. And when Gavir puts out statements like he puts out, you know that he wants those people targeted. And he wants them targeted for death. Not for arrest, not for banishment, not for reprimand, for death. Kill them with extreme prejudice.
Hey!
נכנסתם לבית שלנו? זה לא הבית שלנו.
This clip is way too grainy and bad. I'm going to start it again. It can't be this bad.
זה בית פרטי של פלסטיני.
אני גם פלסטיני, זה בית שלי. מי אמר לך?
This is the ownership document of Elias here, standing next to me at this house, which settlers just took for themselves.
אתם צועקים עלינו כבר 20 דקות. מי שתי המחבלים שתלו את הדגל המחבלים הזה? אף אחד פה לא מחבל. מי שנמצא פה כרגע הוא מסייע לטרור.
כל העולם כבר יודע שאתם טרור.
אתה ריבון. אני הריבון בשטח שלי, זה הבית שלנו. אתה לא יכול להעיף.
You know, I'm really surprised that these inbreds are able to stand out in the sun as long as they are for fear of actually contracting skin cancer. You know, that's the #1 place in the world for skin cancer, by the way. Do you really think those papers mean anything to them? Do you really think they give a flying fuck about you having some type of legal document? There are no laws. They're their own laws, and they make them up as they go along. They're going to get what they're going to get until we as the United States push back. We're trying to do it. We're not doing it fast enough, but this is why we have to continue to cover this. Because this is a reminder of where our money goes. Our money goes to people like this who commit mass murder on an insanely crazy level. But they don't care. Rachel, if you're watching, please send a word out to Wally Rashid. I've been wanting to get him back on for a while, so let's do it. Definitely want to talk to him about that. In fact, we should probably try to get him on for Monday, because I know right now we don't have a guest for Monday. So let's work on that one. We'll continue.
זה לא שלך, זה לא שלך, זה לא שלך. זה לא שלך, זה לא שלך. אתה אל תיגע בי. זה לא שלך, זה לא שלך, אל תיגע בי. אל תיגע בי. ממני, זוז ממני.
They opened fire at our unarmed journalists. I will file a complaint as a journalist. They don't want to take my complaint. They opened fire at me and the Japanese journalist.
We came with the owners of the house and with the taboo, the land registry for this house, and settlers have put up flags and giant Israeli Magen David on it.
This is the most disgusting part of their ideology. And again, I would say to these people who are holding these papers, who fucking cares? They don't care. This doesn't enter their mind. They don't give a shit that you have papers proving that you own this house. They took down the Palestinian flag. They put up these flags. And it wasn't just one. They had to put up a half a dozen of them because one is never enough. Again, we are directly involved in this. We are directly responsible for this because as Americans, we allow people to do this. We allow people to say these things. We allow people from afar to give a lot of money to these organizations that give money to these guys to do this. That's what they do. That's why they get away with this. We don't hate them enough, and we're not fighting hard enough.
Up flags and a giant Israeli Magen David on it. We came to take down these flags and to make the place worthy of living again. And as Jews, we have the privilege to not be slaughtered immediately by these settlers. However, they still came and shot at us. Liar. These things, they shouldn't talk to us because they're scared they'll say something illegal. Everything that they're doing is illegal. This is private property. We came with the citizens of this place, and they're protecting the settlers and refusing to tell us why.
That is a new Israeli settler terror outbreak, which was set up by the settlers about a year ago, and they paused construction during Christmas because it's right in the city of Bethlehem, and they didn't want the bad PR. And now they have been taking over Palestinian houses and Palestinian land in the whole area. And of course, in the end, they're aiming at taking over Bethlehem itself.
He's a good guy. And I appreciate the fact that, you know, Audrey is willing to put himself in harm's way the way that he has. It takes a lot of courage to do this. It really does. I mean, at any one moment, you can get somebody like this guy, as you could see here. This is the psychopath that decided to take a shot at them. He fired his weapon. That rifle, they tried to kill him. Now, thankfully, they didn't, or he didn't. That thing didn't. What if he did? What would have been the story regarding Andre and his assassination at the hands of this psychopath? What would have happened? Would we have even known about it? Would they have covered it up? Of course they would have tried, but who knows? But this is what we're dealing with here, guys. This is the cross we have to bear. Every time one of these psychopathic animals fires those weapons at innocent people, it's another moment that our country hasn't revolutionized our way out of the Israel-US State Department alliance. We are prisoners in our own country at the hands of these animals. So remain militant and keep fighting. And don't let these stories die. Otherwise, people like Andre are not going to be able to survive out there much longer. So that's our responsibility. Keep spreading the word.